All right, what is up, everybody? Shell Scout 0013 here coming in with a video with Emperor Atlantis.
You.
And today we're going to talk about CIS and the different battle forces about CIS. And I was just telling him, like, I don't know what I would do without him, because he does so much in the CIS list channel. So if you haven't been in that channel, he's always in there and he's always commenting and he's got a lot of great input, which is why he is part of the team here. And I wanted to actually get a video in because I feel like it's been such a long time. So I am very interested in hearing what your input is on CIS, the unit cards and upgrades, because we haven't been able to talk about that with you, and the battle forces. So if you just want to run us down and give us your input on the new changes, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Time zones are hard sometimes being in the Netherlands, but yeah, I do got some ideas that I wanted to touch on. Well, first of all, the new changes. I think personally, whatever you think about the missions and how it impacts the game as a whole, in terms of list building for CS, it's great. It opens up, almost all the changes that are made open up uh, new ways to list build a lot. Like in the old system, it used to be you spam one unit, take this B1, put the same upgrades on all the B1s, take a triple step or triple droideka, double up on your heavy, double up on operatives, and that was the name of the game. And at a certain point, if you have list builded almost all the lists that are possible, it gets kind of stale. And with these changes, that opens up like the change to AI, where it's less punishing to run it, and override being bigger. You can deploy on more ways than you used to. Like you used to ball up with everything, and now you get you have those options to flank, to do something outside of the box. Take a single big B2 unit that just runs solo or something. I'm not saying that's good, but these are things you can think about and consider to put in your list. Um, but it's also for many units, that it's the override, it's the AI. Disengage is less punishing for units with AI now. Uh, so there's so much. I think melee lists are gonna, I think they're gonna see play with the close range objectives. Especially Quad Magna Guard with Grievous is something I'm excited about to play myself.
Yeah. Now
That
with
that Magna rocket. Oh yeah, sorry.
sorry, no, with AI, the it's you have to be at what, range 3 for it not to kick in, or range 5 or something?
Yeah, range 3. And then for override, it's a range 5 range to
Okay.
use override. So yeah, you got a lot of options in there. Um, especially for override, like you still got Kraken. Super tacticals are good. I think super tacticals are actually really good in this list in this faction right now. But also like Poggle. I mean, I'm not saying he's competitively the best unit, but he did get buffed by it. Also, his one pip got buffed. So that opens up so many IDs. It's really hard to say, well, for me at least, this certain unit is gonna do the best out of all these changes, because so much got changed instantly and there are so many new combos we can build with. So I've been building some lists myself, but I also seen people post lists in the CIS chat, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about running this, and that's so exciting. So yeah. And what else is there? Well, yeah, the characters just got better. Like Dooku has a lot of control and is a direct trooper unit. Like he can give orders to Sith units. So like Dooku Maul could be an option. Dooku Ventress, some kind of weird thing with mercenaries or something, which is also very thematic because Dooku would order, some scum or someone else. He doesn't care if you're a droid or So that's very thematic.
Now,
Um,
would he
yeah.
would he need the Allies of Convenience for that direct trooper unit to give it to any mercenaries?
Oh yeah, yeah, I believe so. But he has the slot to do it. Well, you would
Mhm.
lose out on aggressive tactics, I guess then. But it's possible. You could think about it. Maybe in the future some units will get released where it could be a combo. And these things, you can set them back in the back of your mind. Look, always think about it. Well, this is a possibility I have. Also, he can order a Geonosian, so he has that flexibility too.
Yeah, I feel like with CAD, everyone likes to bring comms relay. So if you had maybe Allies of Convenience on Dooku and you did direct the Cad Bane, then he could comms relay that to maybe like a B1 chain in case you needed to like extend the range. I mean, I know that that's putting a middleman in there that you don't necessarily have to have, but I guess if there was something along the lines like maybe you spread him out a little bit too far from someone else. But yeah, that's just a random thought, I guess.
Yeah, but I agree with that thought. I mean, it's like I would say that you have more tools in the toolbox now. More little niche things, more little niche interactions you can build, you can strategize around within a game. And like if you really like Cat Bane and you really like Dooku and you want to put them together, there's some things you can do. And I like that. I like being able to do things. So, well, yeah. And well, that's Dooku, but Grievous is also, yeah. I think his power with the critical one on his lightsabers, it's that little nudge. I think he's gonna be really good in the new
Oh yeah,
setting. I'm really excited for Grievous, like having immune pierce instead of impervious, I believe it was.
yeah. I think he had Impervious last time.
Yeah, I mean that sucked. You couldn't do any dueling with that. He still got wrecked by any force user. And now he actually can't be pierced like a proper lightsaber duel. So
I think the
yeah,
biggest
yeah,
worry I'd still have with Grievous is his courage value, still only being courage 2.
yeah. I think the new, especially because he lost Arsenal, so he cannot shoot from melee with his gun. So the days of getting that dodge for block with up close and personal is gone. I think.
No, he still has a
I
versatile for his pistol.
Yeah, but he lost Arsenal, so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
cannot. If he's in melee and he shoots someone else out of melee, he's not attacking the guy he's in melee with. And
Oof.
that's something I'm not sure. I want to like rely on. I think endurance is gonna make a. It's gonna be the upgrade I'm gonna take. I mean, endurance was always good. It's not like I never considered it, but I think it's like my top priority. Uh, on the training slot for him now. Yeah.
I agree.
And yeah. And what else was there? I've made a huge list. Oh yeah, I love the A80s. They got cheaper, and high velocity is gonna really, really feel good. And I'm calling it myself. I think Barrage is gonna see the light of day finally. Making two shots with high velocity. He still has critical too, and on top of that, he has surge to hit. So like even if you roll everything four dice with church, you're still hitting four,
Hmm.
and that's gonna feel really good. And then with that high full, oh man, I'm so excited for 80s. I mean everything is close range, but if you position them correctly with the reposition change, also like you move them, you reposition them so that he stands good, like cover your weak side. Yep,
Oh yeah,
excited.
it's going to be a scary thing to have on the board, especially if you don't have a lot of impact.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're quite. I think they're cheap for what they do now. Like not too cheap, but at 200 points, they feel like they take too big of a chunk out of your whole list. And with the points reduction they got, I think they slot in a little bit better. Also because the total army size is bigger, that also really helps them.
Big
Yeah.
time.
And of course, flame spiders. Flame spiders gonna make are no longer niche. And I think if you don't run a battle force, you're always gonna consider taking one of them just to cover the flank. If someone has a short trooper unit, like a big one, or a big stormtrooper unit, or a big clone unit, you want to have that flamer, otherwise you're gonna get wrecked, like 100%. You're not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
survive without something to do a huge dent into that, you know. And I'm not relying on B1s because they're gonna die first before they're gonna do any real damage.
But you can have so many of them now, because what there's like, so what there's six, and then you can increase them by seven, right? You can add seven more with the infantry thing.
And with a heavy, they have 14 minis times six
Good.
or times 8 even.
Yeah, good lord, that's gonna be so many.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about it, like everything being closer range. If someone like a force user came into melee with them, and they killed like how big are the dice pools? Like 6 dice, maybe. Maybe with Anakin or Thoka a little bit more if they hit everything. They do that, but then they're still gonna clap back with all those white dice. If you didn't kill all of them, like if you killed like only half, then they're still gonna roll like good white dice into it. And if you're lucky, they're gonna do some serious damage back. So that's a fun thing
We'll
I think about.
we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you might get a few crits here and there, but uh, at least if you're going up against Anakin, his dim so is taking one out because with those white dice, you're definitely going to be missing one.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm not saying it's like something you can rely on as a basis, but I think it's not going to be a simple, oh, well, big B1 squad, the 14 minis squad, I'm going to crash into it and I'm going to kill them like I did before. Like, I think you need to think twice, like soften them up a bit first, maybe a saber throw and get into cover or behind the building, do a little bit of thinking. But that extra turn, I mean, B1s are supposed to die. If you get that extra turn to maneuver the rest of your army and take some advantages on the board, uh, then you already had a good trade.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
So yeah, that's something to think about. Um, and also, I'm really excited about saboteurs. I've run
Mm.
saboteurs almost for the entirety of oh, cat. For the entirety of last year. Played them triple strike team with Droidekas and double bounty, and I won some good games with it. But now with the rule change, where you cannot take a strike team before you have a full squad, so they're going to be more expensive. But on the other hand, everybody is deployed at closer range, and a lot of objectives give you an incentive to move closer towards you. So maybe on some objectives, they want to run into your mines to prevent you from scoring victory points. So that's kind of a little buff.
Oh yeah, I think those mines are going
So
to be insane with the poison tokens and the fact that you could have six saboteurs just like throwing all over the field those Deoxys mines and wrecking whatever comes their way.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting, definitely. I uh, I don't think. Well, no, of course I do think they really needed that red dice. I'm really glad they got it, but um, maybe they will. Maybe it's too much. I'm not sure. It's too early to tell. Um, but I definitely think I'm gonna test it, try it out, and I hope other people do it too. I mean, we don't buy the miniatures to not play them. I mean, and it is a fun unit to bring. Like, we gotta get some enjoyment out of that poison. And trust me, if you blow up an infernal squad due to poison and see the panic in your opponent's eyes, that's gold.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Um, let me see. Was there something else? Yeah, and my boys, Droidekas, they got even cheaper, and they got reposition, and they really, really needed that reposition to do you know, how many games I've had that I rolled them up in ball mode and they were like not the right angle to shoot in their front arc. And I'm like, well, I want to aim next turn, but now I need to move, with the range one of the speed one movement tool just to get them in the front arc, and it was horrible. I mean, they're not hitting that hard anyway. You don't, if you really want that aim. So I think that the redirect change and the fact they got cheaper in points. I think they're at the price point now that I'm like, okay, no, I don't feel bad. Also, the fact you don't need to take them triple anymore if you want to. In the past, you want to play bombing run, have three of them as sort of fake speeder. But yeah, that objective doesn't exist anymore. So, take two, doesn't matter that much.
And they're going to be blocking line of sight, and those 4 shields. That's still going to be huge.
Yeah, blocking line of sight. I mean, that was the one of the big things you would use them anyway, for anyway, to protect your fragile units.
Hmm.
So they're still gonna doing that. And I mean, it got suppressive. And if you bring like the second of name, what's the secondary objective? Bring them to hell, where you
Hmm.
want to give everything suppression. That's gonna, yeah, it's gonna come real handy. So that's. I'm not saying they're perfect. Too early to tell. Need to play test. Need to see what other people do with them. But I don't think they're bad anymore. I think they're decent. Good. I would call them good.
Yeah, I think a lot of CIS units have really had a glow up, per se.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's about it. That's everything that that's going on in my brain for the units. But I guess also Geonosians. I think. I mean, again, maybe not top tier competitive, but with the larger army sizes, the change that Pogo got. Um, I think it's good. They're gonna fit into more lists now. Uh, it's gonna be more interesting. Also, Pogo wanted to have like this split between droids, like B2s and Geonosians, and with the larger army size, you can get away with that more easily. Um, yeah, so I'm really interested to see people playing more Geonosians. It's
And I know that
yeah.
way down got a keyword change. Do you know what the new way down means?
No, I didn't have a chance to read it yet. I guess that's something for the next episode to squeeze in. I'll
Yeah.
post it on the Discord later.
Okay. I knew like the
Yeah.
yes, I know that changed. I know that getting jump on the BX droids. I don't know what you think about having jump now on
Oh
the
yeah, I
commandos.
like it. Yeah, it's definitely thematic. If you watch the Clone Wars show, I always thought they should have had jump, but in the past it was like a Jedi keyword for the most part, or jetpacks. No, they're gonna be more maneuverable, and I think jump one in combination with like an aggressive saboteur mine and vibro swords, like with the close distance on the objectives, I think of there that has some viability. In the past, I always didn't want to run Fibo swords because once BXs start to die, their offensive power is greatly reduced. Like Magnas have the problem less because they have the retinue token if they move up with like Grievous or something or Kraken, and they have 2 health on each model, so they die less fast and keep that offensive presence on the board. But now, with the deployments changes, they might not even suffer from losing models that fast. So I'm really interested to see if that translates in them being like a serious melee threat. I think
Yeah,
that's what we can use jump the most for,
I think
besides
it.
it just being good in general.
Yeah, and hopefully we see a lot more terrain on the table with the fact that the cover rules are definitely changed.
Hmm.
I've been hearing that people either aren't getting a lot of cover or when they roll, it's really hit or miss, and there so many hits are going through. So with the jump, being able to hide behind that line of sight blocker for a while and then jump over and get that cool BX charge in, I mean, it could be a pretty good move, I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can see it. I mean, if you can think it happen, of how you say that? If you can think that it can happen like a theory craft, then you already have something. Like, I don't think it's that unlikely to happen, to not happen. Yeah,
Nice. Well, I know
yeah.
that we wanted to talk about the invasion force and the experimental droids. So I don't know if you've had any thoughts on both of those or any of the changes that you could think of. I know that with the invasion force now, having the ATST, maybe Dooku, and just a crap ton of B1s could be the play now, or maybe Grievous with a tank or two and a ton of E1s and or Magnus. I feel like it's not going to be as bad now, especially with the fact that I was reading the what is it for the invasion force? Their 3 pip, yeah, the unstoppable advance. The
Mhm.
may perform a speed 1 move if you play this on turn 1 while you're deploying. They get it's almost like a scout move for them. So you can kind of play that in the
Yeah.
very beginning. So I didn't know if you had any other thoughts on maybe the invasion force and what you might think of it now.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think about the three pip being like a scout move, like being a good opener move. You know that's definitely something I didn't thought about. Yeah, that's good. Now I think a separatist invasion force always suffered from having no how you say that? No options to build with. Like you have an 800 points army. If you want a good commander, you're like set back 150, 200 points with Dooku. You have to take the AAT. You have to take like a bunch of B1s. Um, Now you have how many points left? Maybe 200 to, you know, throwing Droideka, throwing more B1s. You know, you couldn't do a lot with these changes though. You know, Dooku being more of a support piece in the early game. Like
Mm-hmm.
you could even put like barrier and guidance, force guidance on him to be him being like a sort of old Anakin token generation hits canceling bot for a while, giving an order, just standing there behind the AATs. You know, having two AATs, more B1s, like having the strong gun line presence. Um,
And the more
yeah,
line of sight
I think
blockers, the better.
yeah, yeah, I think it's gonna be good. But also, you have another option now because Grievous has the retinue of the entourage keyword. I mean, so he actually can take triple magna because if invasion force only allows for 2 magnas to be brought, but with his
Really?
keyword you can bring three. So yeah, yeah, you can take 0 to 2 magnas.
Man. So like, yeah, you can bring
So
three that and the that'd be
so
hey.
so with the, yeah, naked AAT, some B1s, like and do like a bit of like AAT with B1s in the back, and then doing like some force offensive force with the Magnas and Grievous being in melee, like being a close range threat. Now that's something they can do now, you know, and in the past you couldn't like do that without losing, I guess. So I don't know if it's good, but you know these options, I see those options as maybe viable. Again, you need to test it, but it on paper it sounds promising, and that's something. Yeah, I mean, I still hope they get some changes. You know, having a second commander in there would really help a lot. And the fact you can still not take Civ probe droids with Maul is weird. So I still hope they change that. But yeah, and I think the Separatist Invasion Force always was on that edge of like just not making, you know, the cut for being a good uh, battle force. And I think this is the little nudge they needed to, you know, get them over the edge, get them in there of being good, you know. And again, like we said before, B1 spam, like it's going to be a nightmare to bring to tournaments, you know. I have only 10 activations of them at home, so you know, if I want to bring 8 with the bigger size, I'm gonna need to invest in more B1s.
Oh
But
yeah.
you know, something you could do. And it's less of a hassle to track than the repair droid spam list that was around. Like that was a nightmare to which unit had one killed this turn and which repair droid didn't use his ability this round, and just bring a big size of P1s. If they die, they die. You don't care. You have enough.
Right. I was going to say, you don't even need a PK droid at that point. If you've got 14, 15, 16 B1s in a squad, there's no point in bringing a PK droid. You've already got the extra points for that.
Yeah. I think at that point you rather want a medic to heal Grievous or Dooku.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
And
they're
now,
they're gonna get that focus fire.
yeah, no, they really
Yeah.
are. And having the backup with those core units is going to be huge. Now, I know with
Yeah.
experimental droids, they did change the amount of special forces, or no, sorry. What did they
Yeah,
change?
you can take one less BX, so you
Yeah.
cannot take triple BX anymore. Only two of them.
And no strike
And they
teams.
buffed Snow. Yeah, but you couldn't bring strike teams before, so that didn't change.
That's
But
true. That's true.
yeah, you're right. You can't bring them. Yeah, bigger army size, one less BX. Throw in a couple of droidekas. Yeah, probably throw in a very strong snail tank. And yeah, the B2s in there are also better with the red save. I don't think if, EX Force is going to be weak. I don't know if they're going to be as broken as they were. Don't know that, but I don't think they're going to be weak. I think they're going to be really strong still. And especially with the AI keywords being buffed essentially. Invasion for experimental droids was never a list that had order control. You had a lot of orders in the back. You don't care about that as much as you did. So, you're good. Start shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we just talked about before, with the sword, with the closer ranges, maybe melee presence is really hard in the new meta, and you have the option to defend yourself with vibro swords. I I don't see this list going anywhere. I think they can survive whatever new meta is gonna throw at them and adapt.
Yeah, because I remember building basically an all charge army with EXD, and with the fact that they
Yeah,
can get an extra speed one during the next move action is going to be able to get them in earlier. And so, like being able to do a speed three and then a speed two with charge, or with the between the Magna Guard that you're. Did the Magna Guard get cheaper? The proto assassin droids, or were they always 56 points?
I'm not sure from the top of my head. I don't believe they changed. It doesn't matter that much anyway, because if you're gonna bring a whole melee list, you bring Kraken because he has charge. You bring the two BXs with fiber swords, maybe Saboteur on them to increase their unit size. Maybe into the fray to get some defensive searches. Um, so you have two of them because you can take three, and then you take six Magna Guards with whip, and then you have 1,000 points, 9 activations, everything is charged. That's it. Oh yeah, and you can take like aggressive tactics or something. I don't know how many face-ups you're gonna have, or some upgrades on Kraken, maybe endurance to get rid of that suppression you're gonna get from override. But that's your list. Just 9 melee units.
Yeah, and a lot of red saves too.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah, I was about to say, red saves feels nice in a white save army, and with red
Yeah,
saves and the free charge, and with the ability to spend a surge token to remove up to 2 suppression, it's gonna be. And we were talking in the last video about Blizzard Force and the fact that they can just suppress everything between their 1 pip and their 3 pip, and ATST having like the mortars and Vader's 3 pip as well, being able to hand out 3 suppression, and the 1 pip, you can't remove more than 1 suppression. You're going to be able to, during the rally step, I should say, so spending a surge token is going to be able to get around at least that Blizzard 1 pip so that you can score, because panicked now again happens before scoring. So being able to remove that suppression is going to be a lot better. So I feel like EXD is going to be still really good, and we're going to see a lot of people using that.
Yeah.
I feel like so more.
Yeah, I didn't even think about removing that suppression. That's going to be bigger, but you're absolutely right. That's probably going to be an option you're going to have in the back of your mind also.
Now,
Yep.
it's probably not going to be better than either gaining a name or adding a black dice and a white dice to the attack pool, or increasing the
No, of
speed
course, but
because of the amount
when
of
you need it,
charge. But yeah, if you're in a
when
niche
yeah,
situation, it could be helpful.
yeah, you don't want your units to panic. I mean, having suppression, getting suppressed, you don't care about being suppressed, but being panicked, that's something not something you want for your droids either. That's just
And
bad.
because I was gonna say I didn't see Indomitable in a lot of these droids anymore. Like I know that Grievous is Indomitable. The B2s aren't Indomitable. The BX series aren't Indomitable, and neither are the regular Magna Guards or even the prototype ones. So they might have an issue with suppression just in case, but BX or droids don't ever get suppressed. They're only panicked, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
The only unit that is indomitable is Ventress, I believe, and the bigger units, the new upgrade for the cores.
that's right. That's right.
That's it. But yeah, Ventress is not a droid, of course, so she will feel it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, but experimental droid's still gonna be big, and that snail is gonna make an impact, definitely. With the second ordnance slot and the amount of dice it's just gonna pump out. You know, with, with the new cover saves, you want stuff to stick. So having a big dice pool and get those swingy moments, you'll definitely get some wins out of that. And I think we're gonna see that in win rates.
Oh yeah, and the Arsenal 3 and all the amount of dice that you can be rolling. I feel like we overall Legion's dice pools are going to be massively like just bigger, way bigger than anything we've seen before except for fire support. And it was like they were trying to get rid of fire support, but now every dice pool is just going to be huge. And I don't know if they were trying to necessarily get rid of it because of how big it was, but I don't know. I'm excited, but then with the cover changes, it's going to be tough. So it's going to be a bloodbath. Do you feel like you've got a way to build CIS lists? Like, are you going to try and do bigger units, or are you going to try to keep the units about the same, like with a good heavy and personnel, and then just do a lot more units? Or with CIS, what do you think?
Well, I've seen how many activations other lists can bring, like that disgusting short trooper list that popped up, with like that Canadian Bear posted with like more than 20 activations or something.
Yeah,
You know,
I think like 21 or something like that.
yeah, it was insane. So I think for CAS, especially in larger army size and accounting for the things are gonna die uh, way quicker. I already heard people talking about units dying in like the first round, like whole activations gone. So I think I want to have my activation count like a few higher than I used to. Normally you did like 10, maybe 11 activations. This was something that could be normal. And now I'm more thinking about like 14 or get to 12 as a sort of baseline. Like 12 activation baseline is not bad now. Um, but in terms of bigger unit sizes with the cores, like the big B2 and big B1 units, I think you want to really, really think about which objective you're gonna have and if that's useful. How do you say it? If you want to expose your unit to enemy fire, and that they need those models to get it, because a lot of the units in CS don't have like a lot of firepower on range 4. Like they do have a lot of firepower with range 4, but not like huge dice pools, not like short troopers have, for example. example, or range troopers that everyone shoots at range 4 with a big dice pool. And just blinking away with some heavies at range 4, I don't think that's going to be a viable strategy. So if you're going to bring a huge core unit, like a big blob of P2s, I want them to do something, like contest an objective, or like actually go to the enemy and kill something, and like account for that. They draw aggro from that, and they're probably going to get shot by another huge activation. So to summarize, I do think I'm gonna bring them the big activations, but I don't think I'm gonna spam them unless it's like intentional spam in Separatist Invasion Force just to bring all my B1 minis I have. It's maybe that's not even good, but I'm gonna do that. But in general, I don't think I'm gonna spam each unit with double the size. But I'm do gonna get those activations up. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. New objectives. You want to contest stuff. I mean, some objectives only you only score if you secure. So that's gonna be important that you have a lot of guys. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is the more activations you have, the better, even regardless of the dice pools. So it's just going to take a lot of testing to kind of see, especially, with Republic still getting around 9 to 10 activations, nice and easy. Well, not nice and easy, I should say, but still getting around 9 or 10 activations, and Empire getting, 10, maybe 9, but 10, 11, maybe up to 12, and CIS and Rebels getting even higher, but still having lots of minis in the units. It's going to be interesting to see, and I'm excited in about a month to kind of see what happens at Crucible. So maybe I can hopefully get some practice games in for that.
Good luck with that. I'm
Yeah.
glad I don't. At this moment, I'm glad I don't have any big tournament plans that I go to.
Yeah, I was about to ask if you had any games coming up and maybe what you were thinking about bringing.
Not at the moment. Kind of busy. I still work in the summer, so. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna play Dooku first in Separatist Invasion Force. I was thinking about bringing double heavy Dooku, like a support Dooku, like I said, with barrier, force guidance, and then maybe burst of speed to get him in there later in the game, without him being exposed, in a round in between. And then just doing all my B1s that I have. I didn't assemble all of them yet, but they're gonna be soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get a lot of work ahead of you now.
Yeah, well, beyond B1's assembly is not that hard. I already have them clipped and cleaned. Just need to glue them together. People complain about them being hard, but maybe it's because I love B1 so much that it feels less of a chore, more like a fun thing to do.
Probably because I can't imagine putting all those tiny little parts together and then figuring out a pose for each of them. Like you've got to get creative, I'm sure.
Yeah, but that's the fun part.
Yeah, clones are a lot easier, and so is Empire so far. So I like it. I like it.
But I'm also gonna buy a new Magna Guard box, and Quad Magna Grievous is coming. I have that feeling that I must play it. As a guy that plays CIS, like you had to have 4 Magna Guards and just spam it and see what happens with the whips. They didn't get increased in points. Why would they take the rocket? Take the whip. It's cheaper.
Yeah, take the whip, get a lot more units fit in there, and then just rush them forward.
Yeah, I mean, you want to kill Grievous? I have 4 Magna Guard units. Guardian 8. What you're gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, no way Grievous is getting hit because they can also use backup since they have Guardian, so they can back up
Yeah,
and Guardian, and they're yeah, you're gonna just have to go for the Magnus first, and Grievous is then just gonna use Ruthless and work his way in.
yeah. Ruthless is gonna be so good. I'm really excited to try that keyword. Grievous being like the how you say it, like the powerhouse Vader always. Vader's a powerhouse. CIS never had that powerhouse, and I was like, yeah, well, Grievous should be that powerhouse. And now he's ruthless. Now he can like, get them in there. Oh man, yep,
Yeah.
yep. I'm really excited.
Yes, if I had a clip of the original animated Clone Wars cartoon of Grievous rising up and just destroying, I would put that in here. But have you seen the original cartoon Clone Wars?
Yeah, the 2002 version, the
Yeah,
non-canon one, right? Yeah,
yeah.
of course I've seen it. Of
Grievous,
course, it's.
Grievous is just a beast.
I've seen it 2 times on YouTube and on Disney Plus, so I'm probably gonna watch it soon again. It's just so cool. And with the bigger clone sizes, with the double the size, you can recreate those clone armies too. I mean, there were also like many of them, and very badass. So
Yeah, it's just tough to get
like
a good
Anakin
hero
to
in.
Max.
It's just tough to get a hero in with the amount of points it's going to cost to get two good clone trooper infantry squads with 11 guys or so.
Yeah, it's
But
gonna be
yeah, man,
fun.
I'm excited. Hopefully you are about CIS. And anything to kind of wrap it up? Anything else?
No, say hi to the other boys.
Yeah, no, I will. I will. I'll make sure to put this one up and have a lot of people check it out. And yeah, man, thanks for your input on CIS. Like, if you ever have anything else to put up, man, just let me know, and I'm gonna try to get you fit you in the best I can, and get some more of your takes.
Yeah, of course I will.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks a lot for joining up or for joining in, I should say, and giving us your input. So we will all see you later, and for the rest of you guys, thanks for watching. Peace out.
You.